Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Inspiry Tales. Today, we're sharing a meaningful story about discovering your personal strengths and how regular practice can open the door to success. This story reminds us that everyone is gifted in different ways, and with the right attitude and effort, we can grow in any area of life. Along the journey, you'll also learn new English words and how to use them naturally, making learning both simple and enjoyable. So, stay with us until the end. Story. In a calm and friendly town, there lived a small family in a quiet neighborhood. They had a 12-year-old son named David, who was studying in the 6th grade. David was an active and cheerful boy who loved being outdoors. His greatest passion was playing soccer, and almost every day after school, he practiced at a nearby open field, improving his skills little by little. One afternoon, David came home from school looking unusually quiet. He dropped his bag, picked up his textbook, glanced at it briefly, and then leaned back on the sofa with a frustrated expression. His father, who had just finished watering plants in the backyard, noticed something was wrong and sat beside him. "What's bothering you, David?" he asked gently. David explained that he had scored poorly in his math test, but more than the grade, what troubled him was that his friend and neighbor, Matt, always seemed to do exceptionally well in math. No matter how hard David tried, he felt he could never match Matt's performance. Seeing his son upset, his father brought him a glass of water and asked him to relax. After a few moments, he led David into their peaceful backyard garden, surrounded by tall trees and a calm atmosphere. "David," his father said kindly, "today you'll learn 3 important lessons. These lessons will help you throughout your life." Curious and respectful, David asked, "What lessons, Dad?" "You'll discover them through small challenges," his father replied with a smile. Lesson 1. For the first lesson, his father said, invite Matt to play soccer with you tomorrow. The next day was bright and pleasant. After school, David invited Matt to join a soccer match at the field. Since David practiced soccer regularly, he played confidently and scored several goals. Matt, on the other hand, struggled. He missed passes and often lost control of the ball. Still, everyone enjoyed the game. That evening, David excitedly told his father everything that happened. His father nodded and said, "Matt may not be good at soccer, but he excels in math. You struggle with math, but shine in sports. Everyone has different abilities, and that's perfectly normal." David finally understood that being different doesn't mean being inferior. Lesson 2. For the second lesson, his father continued, observe Matt at school tomorrow. Notice how often he uses numbers. The next day, David quietly watched his friend. He saw Matt solving math problems, counting objects, calculating change, and even counting flower petals during break time. When David shared this with his father, he smiled and said, "Matt is good at math because he enjoys it and practices constantly. Skill grows with repetition. Just like you became good at soccer through daily practice, improvement in any subject comes from consistent effort." David realized that learning doesn't have to be stressful. It can start with small, simple steps. Lesson 3. For the final lesson, his father said thoughtfully, how much better do you think Matt is at math compared to you? David thought for a moment and replied, maybe 3 times. Then tomorrow, his father said, study math 3 times harder. The next day after school, David sat down to study. He focused intensely for an hour, then pushed himself for 2 more. Eventually, exhaustion took over and he fell asleep at his desk. Later, his father gently woke him and asked him to meet in the garden. Feeling disappointed, David said, "I tried, Dad, but it was too hard. I couldn't stay focused." His father placed a hand on his shoulder and said, "That's because it's difficult to stay disciplined in something you don't enjoy. But when you love what you do, consistency feels natural, just like soccer does for you." After a pause, he added, "If you want to become excellent at something, either choose what you love or learn to love what you must study." Conclusion: David promised to remember these lessons forever. Today's story taught us new words, ideas, and an important message. Learning becomes easier when practice meets passion. Keep listening, keep learning, and keep improving your English step by step. If this story helped you, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Thank you for watching the Inspiry Tales. We'll see you again in the next story where learning continues together.